Three, two, one. Hey, hey, Wendy. Good
Hello,
afternoon
Hannah.
to you. Where are we speaking with you today? Where are you?
Oh, I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Canada. Have you gotten some snow recently?
Lots.
A lot. Yeah, my Canadian friends have been sending pictures, and I don't know if you like the snow, but I did just go for a run in a tank top in California. It's a whole new experience for me, though.
Yeah, no, you know what? I used to love the cold. Now I'm like, I could go somewhere warm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you took a little time in your cozy space to talk to us today. And we actually connected yesterday a little bit in the private seminar about, how to position yourself as an expert. So I'm curious, what is your area of expertise right now?
Some people call it mindset. So basically, I help people looking at where they have limitations, where they have self-image doubts about themselves, all that juicy, yummy area about how we see ourselves.
How we see ourselves. Yeah, huge topic. I see a few people are joining us live. So if you're here with us, drop a comment if you've ever found yourself in, a limiting belief or maybe lacking some confidence in yourself, because Wendy is here to help you dig into that. And you've been coaching for a few decades on this topic. Is that right?
Well, I've worked in all different areas. Mind, body, spirit, emotions is one of my favorite. And from emotions, I went into subconscious beliefs, mindset, how emotion, beliefs, and all that tie together to affect even our health. So it's like the whole spectrum, whole gamut. I've been doing all that. Yes.
Yeah, amazing. So I'm sorry, I see a comment that it's not playing. If you guys are seeing us, give us a shout out. I just want to make sure everyone's seeing what we're talking about here. So yeah, this idea that our self-esteem impacts so many different aspects of our lives. And a lot of folks in this group are trying to change the world and spread a really important mission. So can you talk to us as sort of, millennial entrepreneurs, go-getters, just people with inspiration? Like, why is it so important for us to start thinking about, fostering healthy mindset around ourselves right now?
Cool. I see a bunch of message. I don't know if you see it on your screen. So I think I'm going to say hi to, like, I think I saw a few names: Amir, Amy, and Nisha. If I missed your name, I apologize. I quickly glanced at the message and I just want to say hi and acknowledge you for showing up here. So thank you so much. Hi, Ruth. So yes, well, this is one sentence that pretty well explain everything about the importance of having a positive self-image. Your point of view creates your reality. So however you see the world, however you see people, however you see your situation limits the possibilities from showing up, or limits your creation, or make your creation very limited and restricted. All not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard before our thoughts create our reality, but it's really maybe the ones that we choose. And you're saying like our perspective or our point of view is going to create what we see in the world, what we become in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a difference between a point of view and thoughts. And I'm going to go into this a little bit, if you don't mind, about
Yes,
thoughts.
please.
Okay. So going back to like when I first started studying the brain, one of the things is like how we see the brain. Like many of us look at the brain as like, okay, we create from the brain. Actually, it's not quite we create from the brain. We use our brain to do what we choose to do. But your brain's main function is storing all the information that you have ever experienced in your life, and all the stories and information that has been shared with you. That's your brain function. But there is another part that very few people talk about, which is your brain is actually a radio and a receiver. So you know how when we talk about ask and it is given? Well, what is that ask doing? Is it just we speak the word, right? Is actually we are thinking about it, and that thought is actually creating the signal and is being broadcast into the universe. So if you can broadcast message, can you not receive message? Right? So if you can receive message, then what happens is sometimes you will receive the thoughts and feelings of other people, which sometimes people call themselves empath. And actually, every one of us can receive message. You know how all of a sudden you have a thought, you go, oh, I got to call someone. And then that person is like, oh my gosh, I just was thinking about calling you, right? So you are a receiver. So now, why did I talk about all this when you bring up about thoughts? Because one of the things that stop a lot of us from going forward with our thoughts or our ideas was another thought. Right? It's like, oh, the thought is that no, nobody likes it. Oh, nobody wants to hear about this. Oh, so-and-so already did that yesterday. Oh, I saw the post somewhere else in Facebook already. Oh, nobody wants to hear this, right? Well, what if that is not your thought? What if you pick up someone else's thought? And what if you what if you can just say, hey, is this thought mine? I mean, I'm so excited about creating this post. Why all of a sudden I start telling myself, oh, it does, no, nobody wants to hear this. What if that's not your thought and you go ahead and do it anyway?
I love that. Yeah. Right? We can make any story we want, right? It's like, you know, so many other people are doing this, or 1% of the world is doing this, and you happen to be friends with all of them. So Facebook is showing you other people maybe in your same area, and you forget about, the 6 billion other people in the world.
Exactly. So this is one tool that I'm going to share with all of you is don't take, first of all, when you have a thought, don't just assume this is your thought, and ask the question, is this mine? Or am I being a radio and I pick up, you know, the static when you're not tuning in your channel right on, you hear the static. What if those are the statics that you pick up? And then you go, I can't hear the song. Yeah, okay, tune it in a little bit more. What is your mission here again? What are you here to do? What makes you jump out of bed this morning and then go to the computer, and then all of a sudden you go, nobody wants to hear this, right? So that's a very powerful tool. If you just, as soon as you hear a thought that is negating what you were a few seconds ago or an hour ago very excited about, really ask yourself a question, is that mine?
Is that mine? That is beautiful. I often say in this group, and I tell all of my clients, that your mission statement and your vision board needs to be by your computer, because this is so true and so common that we are fired up and then we let one voice or one person on Instagram totally derail us for the day and make us feel like we're imposters or not good enough. And so I love that idea of, you know, coming back to your mission statement, your why, and then what you just said, asking that question, like, is this mine? Like, is this really true that nobody wants to hear me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, so another thing is, so why did I brought up your point of view? Thank you, Amir. Glad you're enjoying this. So your point of view is different than a thought, because your point of view involves your beliefs. What you believe is possible, what you believe is not possible. Now, a belief, it could be coming from your life experience, or it could be simply from people around you that keep telling you, oh, you can't do it. Oh, you're too young. You're too old. You're a woman. You don't go and fly a plane. Whatever that people tell you, that's an external factor or information that comes to you. Okay. And you bought it. So now here's the, you must have heard people says, when you get to the age of 8, most of the time you have already been brought with like I use the word implant, like you've been given all the what you should think, how you should think, how you should act, and all that. Like it's pretty well been programmed by the age of 8.
Wow.
Now I'm going to give you this one that you're going to say, wow, some more. By the age of 2, you have already got all the programmings from your parents. So if your father believes he can never have his own business and it is safe to have a 9-to-5 job, if you didn't have anybody else introducing a different possibilities to you, you may grow up just having that point of view, like, oh, I'm going to look for a job 9-to-5 because it's safe. And I'm a girl, so someday I'm going to be married and, my husband will take care of me, and whatever traditional thinking that your parents have, given you. And so you grew up having that point of view. It's literally like the horse having, the blinder on, and you wouldn't be able to see everything else that is around you because you have the blinder on. And you didn't even realize that. So there is someone here saying to you like, hey, Hanna, I love your creativity. Why don't you come and, come work with me? And like, we have this business venture. You go, no, 9-to-5 is safe. No, 9-to-5. No. So you can't even allow these possibilities to even come close to you because you have a blinder on. Energetically, it can be, even if you're in the same party room, you never met that person. He could be brushing right by you and you never even say hi or see that person. Because first, we are energetic being. Then we are human being, okay, after the physical body. So if your energy is saying, no, how is the person going to come close to you? And you could be in the same room and you never met the person. So your point of view is actually much greater in terms of stopping us from creation than your thoughts. Because the thoughts come after your beliefs. Your beliefs dictate all your thoughts.
So Jennifer is commenting that her baby is 18 months old. I'm getting feedback. Yeah. Okay. So Jennifer is commenting that her son is 18 months old, and I think she's responding to that. I think at 2 years old, we've got a lot of beliefs. So what do you recommend for parents or for those of us who are over the age of 2 to, change perspectives and widen that, our ability to see opportunities and attract new potential, really?
Okay, so if you pay attention to people talking to you, you will recognize that in school, we were trained to give an answer. When you go to work, your boss trained you to give them the answer. Everywhere that you hear people create a conversation, mostly is they are expressing what they think, which is, again, a statement, which is a period at the end of the sentence, right? It's a full stop. So that's a conclusion of whatever they believe it to be. So the best way to bring up children is ask them questions. Questions will encourage them to explore. So if a child asks, like if a child is throwing a tantrum, instead of saying stop and come to a conclusion that, well, this is wrong behavior, you ask the child, what are you aware of? And you'll be surprised of the things that pop out of their mouth.
What are you aware of?
Yeah. Remember, your brain is a receiver.
Hmm.
So what are you aware of? Maybe, and the thing is, like children and animal, like young children and animal, they have no filters on. They have no filters. That's why they have imaginary friends that we think is imaginary. Is it really imaginary? Or are they aware of other information? Right? Mm-hmm. And we just go, no, you're imagining. So that's when we shut down our children's creativity and start narrowing them down to our beliefs of what is or what isn't, what should or what shouldn't be. So as a child, even now, it's time for us to start going back to asking questions.
Asking questions. Yes, no matter what your age. I love that you added that in there, you know, asking kids, what are you aware of? What. Yeah.
So if you're doing a business project and then you say, I can't get this right. I don't get it. I can't get this right. Okay. You can ask a question right there. It's like, okay, what other possibilities have I not considered here?
Yep.
To create the result that I'm looking for, or to create the image or whatever, the project, whatever that I'm creating here. Ask the question. When you ask the question, you start inviting information to come in. When you say it's not working, you basically just put the cover on the box, tie the ribbon, and
it won't work. It won't work. You're right. If that's what you decide, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. So, asking questions and keeping that open space for your mind and opportunity to come. And sort of another tangible action step that I tell a lot of clients to do, especially when they're trying to get creative and they're in that place of like, it's not working. I don't know what my offer is going to be. My business is stuck. I ask them to just go look for feathers. And they're usually like, what? Like I needed a new strategy. I needed all this other, you know, I thought I would maybe run an ad. And like, no, today I just want you to go look for feathers. And we're going to talk tomorrow about that. And what I talk to them after that is like, okay, how many feathers did you see? Well, it's winter. I didn't see any feathers. Okay, did you lay your head on a down pillow last night? Okay, so did you notice the thousands of feathers underneath your head? Did you notice the woman on the bus that had like a feather in her ring? Did you see a bird flying in the sky? Like there are feathers everywhere, but if you're only believing that feathers have to be like under my foot from a dead animal, you're in that sort of like stuck in like that perspective that isn't running into all these other opportunities. So I love what you're saying, Wendy, about asking yourself questions, you know, maybe sticking up that poster of, is this me? And then also, I love the feather exercise. You can do it in a lot of other ways, but really it's just that priming your brain and that getting that radio to, you know, get a little bit more clear into what it is you're really looking for and what it is that's really you.
Exactly. And also, like, if you are a receiver and a radio, so first you have, you know, external influence. And then you also look at from inside, you have parental influence, you have your, you know, cultural influence and all that. So at the end of the day, really, 99% of the thoughts, feelings, emotions are not ours. We created that. We created it by buying into it being real. And at the same time, I mean, I'm not just saying, okay, so we are just creative with our problems. It's not just that. I mean, there are real chemical and energetic influence. That's real. And science call them DNA. If you talk to spiritual teachers, they will tell you, like, you know, if you believe in past life and everything else, all those experiences are also still with you. So it may create an influence. And that's part of like why sometimes it appears with some issues that is very hard to break for us. It could be because it is not just in this lifetime. It could be you bringing into your parents' life experience into you. Like I know I've read actually an article, a science research article that when I saw that, I'm like, wow, science is finally catching up. And it actually says scientists are acknowledging that if you have a migraine headache or something, and that migraine headache could be the result of your grandparents going through some kind of depression era with money or whatever that was very traumatic for them, and that experience locked into the body and over time created dis-ease in your body, and your body have a way of talking to you, so it gives you migraine headache to talk to you and say, hey, pay attention, I need something here. Like all so-called dis-ease is the body talking to you and saying something is out of alignment. So science is now acknowledging that, yeah, you know what, we are more than just in this lifetime. There are so many things that affect us. So what can we pay attention to and acknowledge that discovery of whatever belief that you have, and then change it so that everything open up, because one belief is actually affecting every area of your life, your health, your mental, your happiness, your business, every aspect of it. It's not just one thing. So the brain is like very fascinating, and how you see yourself, don't take it too seriously. Like, question yourself, where am I going with this? If I like to be a happy person, what can I choose to be happy? Rather than putting yourself like, oh, yeah, I'm just not a happy person. It may not be yours.
Yep. Absolutely. So many symptoms that we experience in our life, whether it's our health, our disease, or our business, or our relationships, really does come from this having a healthy mindset. And so we talked a little bit about some questions we can ask ourselves, some tangible exercises with putting our mission or is this me questions around us. What other sort of tips or strategies do you have for us, especially knowing that this group is looking to really play big in the world? And, of course, we want to overcome headaches. We also want to overcome like the imposter syndrome and holding ourselves back, like you talked about at the beginning, by comparing ourselves to other, really successful world changers. So what are some other things that we can do like this week to boost our confidence and self-esteem?
Cool. So one of the things is the key to creating self-confidence is acknowledging yourself. Now, acknowledging yourself is not just when I get a new client, I celebrate. It's not about that. It's about acknowledging you, whether it is what you perceive to be positive or negative. You acknowledge you. So if you recognize I'm not happy at this moment, and then you did something and you change it, acknowledge that you did that and create the change. Because every time when you acknowledge yourself, you're putting more in telling yourself, I can do it. It's not a big deal. Like, I can shift. Even like, Hanna, you and I were in a challenge, and remember, the title of the podcast was Tiny Leaps and Big Changes. So what if you start acknowledging yourself, making that tiny step to create the change? That acknowledgement will build you over time. You will remember that, yeah, I did change that. Oh yeah, I did that. Oh yeah, I thought I had a headache, and when I asked the question, is that mine? And the headache went away. Wow, I must see magic. Woohoo! Celebrate that. Okay, that's one thing, acknowledge. Another thing is like always ask the question, what else is possible I have not considered? Like, do I just do one thing great? Or am I actually capable of having 10 things and they all are going in the direction that I'm going? What if you can be talented in multiple aspects and areas? Are you just limited to be a coach? What if you have, a special skill and talent in singing, and you can sing and be a life coach? You don't necessarily need to be a singing coach. So, like, what are other possibilities that is waiting for you that you are refusing?
Yes, and right, that exercise of yes, I like to sing, and I'm a life coach, and I'm Hanna.
Yes.
So I think that's so important to kind of build that muscle, celebrate everything, and like you said, see your accomplishments. And so I see we have a few eyes here, but even if you're watching the replay and you have been working on your success journal, it's something that I've talked about in the private seminar and my clients are doing to get to what exactly Wendy's talking about, like really identifying the times that you overcame obstacle and you succeeded, even if in the moment it did not feel like a celebration or a success, but finding in your life those patterns and those times that you can celebrate. Whether it's, I always make the joke, like, I didn't lose my keys today. And like, that means that like my head was on for the majority of the day and I was remaining calm. But of course there's bigger successes and personal attributes that we can identify if we really give ourselves the space. So drop a comment if you're working on that workbook, because I want to know what your results are. Awesome, Wendy. Well, it does look like we don't have too many more, we don't have any questions coming in. We have a few minutes. So Courtney, Jacqueline, Jennifer, you guys are on. Drop a question if you have them. Otherwise, Wendy, I'll just ask you, what was one of those things for you? Can you tell us like a personal, maybe obstacle or time when you really had to question yourself? And then, as you work through that and maybe ask yourselves those questions, what came to be? So I'm asking you, maybe you can be a little personal with us and tell us what this looks like in your life or maybe a client's life.
So one of the things is when you ask a question, don't look for an answer. Yeah, it's different, very different. When you ask for a question, allow the answer, like the information to come to you versus you thinking and come up with an answer. Because what you're doing here is asking for information that is outside of your brain to come to you. Like before the invention of iPhone, nobody knows iPhone is possible. So it doesn't really come from the brain. It's more like, well, what can I have? Well, like Steve will be asking questions like, well, what can I create that nobody has ever had before, or something like that. And then it's like, well, what would it be like to have a no-button phone? Like everybody tells him it's crazy to have a no-button phone, right? So if your brain can come up with it, that's nothing new. Remember this. If your brain can come up with it, it's nothing new. So I'll give you an example of a situation that I experienced to let you know how it goes. So I went to, and this is a personal experience where I was having trouble with my Mac, my computer, and I took it to the store and have it repaired. And one of the person that worked in the store, she returned the Mac to me and say, okay, this is the bill and how much. And I just asked a question. I say, okay, can you tell me if I would be able to talk to the technician and find out what I did that actually created the problem with my Mac that I have to bring it in for repair? And she says, okay, so so-and-so is going to come out, but first he's going to take care of this client. And then when he's done, you're welcome to wait for him. So listening to her saying that, you already know, like, she's basically telling you, like, leave him alone, don't ask any question, because I'll make sure that he takes care of the other person before taking care of you. The message was very clear. And so I was like feeling a little bit upset. I'm like, I'm your client right now, and I'm not done yet. Why is it you telling me that you are welcome to stay, all that stuff, right? So I was feeling a little bit upset, and then I decided, you know what, I'm not going to stay behind because I know she's going to make sure I wait. So I pick up the bill, left, get my computer, get in the car, and I noticed that I was upset. And I was like, rather than going into the story of, I have the right to be upset because she did all this stuff, I go, okay, Wendy, what are you aware of? And then the thought came into my head and say, this person is not happy with her job. And all of a sudden, my whole body just lit up. It's like, if she liked her job, she wouldn't be, pushing away the clients. So the minute that I had that, and that's not a thought from me, because it was so different, and my body just reacted to it. And then I go, oh, okay. And instantaneously, all that upset, everything went away. And that's how you invite information in. It's just really asking the question and then allow it. And also pay attention to your body, not the feeling. There is a lightness that you will, and an expansive awareness that you will have when you get the truth. When you are dealing with things that is a lie, your body weighed heavy. You have this heaviness and you felt contracted, or you have very little awareness. That's how you know whether someone is telling the truth, or you are getting the truth, or you are getting the lie. Someone can be talking to you, and if you become aware of a heaviness, probably the person is lying to you. And that's a great way to use.
And Jennifer's talking about, the opposite of that, and practicing confident body posture and showing up the way you want to. Because that physiological stuff tells us a lot, and we can sometimes trick our brain, right? So thanks for saying that, Jennifer. And what I love about what you're saying, Wendy, is so much less stressful when it's not like you have to go find the answer, or there must be a reason that this is happening in the Mac store. You just ask the question, and it's not like pressure to figure it out or fix anything. You're just curious. And I think that attitude is so beneficial for surviving stress at the mall, as well as, being a good leader and showing up for your family and your, mission with just curiosity and never having to be right or fix things. And again, just practicing asking yourself questions to get you to that light, natural place where you're just curious and listening to yourself, your true self.
Yeah, totally. There is a saying called nothing has meaning except for the meaning you give it. So everything is neutral until we decide different. We can judge everything, and it's the judgment that limited our point of view. So as soon as we label something, it became that. So if you label yourself like I don't know what I'm doing, well, you became that. When you say, well, I have my brilliance, and here's the thing, if you don't know where your brilliance is, every day you get up in the morning and ask this question: where am I brilliant at that I haven't acknowledged? And sooner or later, you will discover another brilliance that you never knew that was possible, because you never asked that question. You just play with what you already know. Now you are playing with what else? What else? Like, scientists says we only use 1% of our brain. So how about discover the next 1%? Right?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's amazing. Yeah. open yourself up to new potentials and just start having more inquisitive conversation with yourselves. You know, you talk to yourself all day, every day. And if you can just start sprinkling in some more questions and this sort of, yes, compassionate understanding of yourself and others, you're going to start attracting, you know, the mission statement that you've been working on and the clients that you want to work with. And it's just about, you know, letting that happen. So Wendy, I'm so glad you gave us so many great questions to go ask ourselves and ways to move through this crazy world, this crazy time of year. I think a lot of folks can probably relate to that MacBook story with the holiday season right now.
Totally.
Yes, and I just want to give a quick shout out, you guys. Wendy is a real person. I always say this, but she really is a compassionate member of this group. And so if you're watching the replay or you're seeing her in this group, please reach out to her. Yes, Jennifer's saying thank you. I love, you know, building this community, and Wendy's a great person for you guys to connect with.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, do you have any parting words for us, Wendy, as we're kind of winding down this conversation for now?
I would say play with that question. If you start playing with that question, what else is possible? You're going to find that you're going to create a lot more ease in your life.
Just play.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
Play with question.
Amazing. We are so grateful for your inspiration and insight. Like I said, you guys, if you catch the replay, drop a comment. Wendy is a group member, and you all can connect and manifest the confidence and dream life becoming real life for you, right?
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, everyone, for watching and watching the replay.
Yes, we will all talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're almost ending here.